I want to grow. Like, if it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. You're going to get lucky whenever you put yourself in a situation to be lucky.
I don't know what I'm doing. We don't know what the heck we're doing, but we're doing our best.
As iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another.
I want to help people. That's why I do it.
At that point, Lopez rips his shirt off and he's like, hold on, this is my last resort.
There's just no duplication for hard work. There's no duplication for doing the right things.
Succeed and then put your hand back and help someone else. We're all over the place, just a group of friends trying to all connect and help each other grow. All right, thanks for tuning in again with the Men in the Arena. This is our second video. I have a couple new people that got involved in the call. It's a huge group of buddies. We all try to hang out together as much as we can, but sometimes, we're all in different cities, different states. I wanted to introduce my buddy. His name is Brad. You can introduce yourself.
All right, my name's Brad. What are we doing? College, what we do. I went to Louisiana Lafayette for college. That's where I did my undergrad. I went to LSU, got my MBA in finance there. I work in personal finance. I work for Prudential through Allstate. I've been doing it for about 1.5 years now.
Sweet. All right, Connor Meekins, you got the floor.
Hey. Yes, sir. Connor Meekins. So I went to Kent State University, got a degree in finance, and hopped out to Chicago, where I currently reside. And I'm working for a company called Asset Markets, a California-based company. I'm a sales consultant. That's my title, but I do investment management, helping financial advisors do that out in Chicago.
Awesome. Go ahead, Connor Lozier.
My name is Connor Lozier. Went to Kent State as well with these lovely gentlemen here. Got my degree in aeronautics, so I got a bachelor's in science in aeronautics. And I work for a company called Executive Jet Management, and so I'm in private jet management and consulting. So I lead a team. I'm a supervisor of a team of 6 people, and we're in charge of about 40 of those private jets. And so what that entails is basically day-to-day operations. We're talking with the owners, making sure that we're getting them from A to B in the most efficient way possible, no hiccups, and just continuing that momentum from, when they get off the jet to when they hop in their ground transportation to when they when they head over to the meeting. And then when they make it back home. So we're in charge of just making sure that that owner is taken care of, and their jet is ready to go whenever they're ready to go. So
awesome, man! Thanks for joining us on the call, both of you guys. And then we have a returning customer. His name is Tyler Douglas. Douglas, you could say hey.
Hey everybody, good to be back. This is a lot of fun, and look forward to hearing everybody's ideas tonight.
Alrighty, and then we have Brian Leffler from Hawaii with the great. Always looking good.
Let's go.
We'll keep
Aloha.
You just because that looks so solid while you're driving. All right, so today we're just going to talk a little bit, just us hanging out, how we typically would. We got this article from Inc. Brian Leffler was the one that actually sent it to me just one day. I was working and he sent it to me and I checked it out. It's pretty interesting. It just talks about how people generate their own luck. A lot of people talk to others that are in really good job roles and it's always, oh, you must have got so lucky. Or, I don't know how I did it. I'm just really lucky. Really what it comes down to is hard work, effort, putting yourself in the right place at the right time. I'm sure you guys all know that. A lot of the times I hear how I'm so young in medical device sales. It's because I put in a lot of effort. You guys would know that. We were all buddies in college. My senior year, I was gone. You guys never saw me. I was getting into sales. I was doing everything I could to put myself in the right position to get lucky, if you want to say that. But, luck is a lot of things. You can have luck in certain circumstances, but really, in the end, it comes down to hard work. You're going to get lucky whenever you put yourself in a situation to be lucky. So I just wanted to start with that. In this article, I will post it at the end for you to read if you would like. It's pretty interesting. One of my favorite parts of the article is the one that's number 8, look for a win-win. So in college, I had one of my best friends, Brian Money. We were two different people. One of us is an introvert. The other one is an extrovert. I would be willing to go meet anyone. I would go talk to professors. I would do everything I could to make sure that I was putting myself in a good position to succeed as well as get good grades. And Brian Money it was effortless. He was in school and he got a 4.0 and he could pass any class. And it was just interesting because him and I kind of had a win-win relationship. I was able to converse with people and take him and bring him out of his shell. And then he was able to help me. It was never, hey man, help me with this class and then we won't talk anymore. We became even closer because we could help each other. I could help him be more social and he could help me learn. I just never even thought of it in a way that like I'm using him or he's using me, and I'm sure he would agree. We were best buddies and we still are to this day, because anything I could do to help the guy out, I will, hands down. And it's just interesting how one of these executives in the article, that is one of his points of being successful and how he got there, finding some way that you can work with someone else to, create a good team. So I don't know if you guys want to touch base on any of that or.
Yeah, how important, Steve? I think it's so important to surround yourself. We talk about the top 5, like the people you spend the most time with. And those people can challenge your existing beliefs. And if you're not dogmatic, if you don't like only believe in, your point of view, like mine's absolutely right, and you're open to being challenged and doing that and surrounding yourself with people who are a little smarter than you are, I think that just completely opens up your world. And it makes you a weapon. It makes you diverse. It makes you somebody who's just open to ideas and different, avenues that you never even imagined were there in the first place. And I think when you talk about Brian and the way he compliments you, I mean, he's one of your top 5, and you spend the most time with him and you get those great ideas, and you guys are, it's just, you build off of that dynamic. So I think it's great that you picked that number 8.
Yeah, I think it's you finding someone or something that's mutually beneficial to each other, and that's basically a win-win, and everyone's going to benefit off of that. And it's Brian Money's a good example of that. I mean, I don't know why he hasn't been on one of these yet, but
I tried.
He's way too introverted for this.
Oh, no.
You just have him typing, and then I'll we'll do that next.
Dude, yeah, I agree.
You guys want to touch base on any of that? Douglas or
Leslie?
Go ahead, Douglas.
I was going to say, I picked 2. That was one of them as well. I learned that at a very young age, just working at a normal high school job, but around people who were executives, and they actually bringing people to a golf course and just communicating and having discussions with them. And just using real life examples of, hey, I can bring this guy out. I can show him a good time. But then, his business complements my business in such a way that it's well beyond the transactional. They buy from me and I get a sale. It's their families know each other, and honestly, each other's products just complement, what they do so much that the business transaction isn't even as important as the win-win for how much it benefits each business of. I know it's very broad, but.
No, I would agree, man. And I think it's very interesting, just for whoever's watching this, all of us weren't extremely tight in college. We weren't all best buddies. It seems like we all became closer after college. We found, I don't know, things that we were all interested in that, it didn't have to do with who you knew or who you're friends with. Later on in life, it's just, hey, how can we be buddies? What can we do to help each other? That's really what it comes down to.
It's like, go ahead. It was almost just like we all were in the same spot in our young professional world. We're just like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing? No, I don't know what I'm doing. So let's just we can all like come together and talk about it. And maybe we'll get something together as a whole group to really feed off of each other and learn that way. Be like, no, I tried that. That did not work. Don't do that. or what worked for other people. And then also just, surrounding yourself with good guys that are all going through the same thing. So I think we're still doing that. We don't know what the heck we're doing, but we're doing our best. So
I don't know who's talking. I think it's a new guy, Connor. One of the new Connors is talking, and I love it because you got to figure it out as you go. Nobody has a step-by-step book on how to go from graduating college to rattling off each step in your career. You got to fall down to get back up and to figure it out, and nobody's going to help you along the way. So why not rely on other people that are trying to figure out how to crawl, walk, and run at the same damn time?
Exactly.
I'm about to go through a tunnel, so I'll call you guys back.
All right, sounds good, man. And that's the thing. So I know that we're all struggling together, and it's just very fascinating to me that this is why I wanted to do it. Because I'm at a point right now where it's like, am I in the right career? Am I doing the right thing? I'm never satisfied with where I am. It might be why I'm in the career that I am, because you always want more and you're always working to find that next thing. But to be honest with you, it's tough. And I wanted to have these conversations, not only for me, because I feel that it'll really help other people out. Who knows if someone's in finance, and here's Connor Meekins talking about how he was in finance and how he's trying to get into fitness, and it's really interesting to him. You never know who it can help. And I think that that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I have a couple things to add to that. I have a couple quotes that I like to try to live by. And Corey, if he was on this episode, he would relate to this quite a bit because we've talked about it before. And Steve, I may have mentioned to you, but as iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. And that's something that I've used time and time again in my life to refer back to. But it just goes to show you that you can complement another man. And, I have another quote as well on that. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So a couple things that I always think about when I'm being myopic, when I'm like just kind of going my own way. And I've been spending a lot of time by myself. I'm like, it's great. You can be this philosopher. You can be this guy who thinks, everything that he does is the way. But when you get those other thoughts, you get challenged and have those other ideas that another guy who's had different experiences gives you. It just sharpens you. It sharpens the blade. So I like to take what you guys have to offer and constantly stay in communication. It just makes me better, makes you better. So
yeah, think about this, like books. Everyone turns to books whenever they need some guidance. Well, what should I do? I'm going to read 10 books. You know who wrote those books? Guys like you and I. They were just normal people, just struggling through life.
Yep.
And maybe they have as much insight as us. Maybe they don't because they weren't born in the 21st century. Like we have something that is remarkable. We have the internet. I can video call with you guys. The guys in Hawaii, we live in Grand Rapids, Cleveland, Chicago, Cincinnati. We are all in different parts living different lives. And to me, this is better than a book. This is so interesting. I can pull so much insight from each one of you guys, and I hope it helps you guys. But all right, enough of that topic. Who's got the next one? I think it is Brad. Do you have yours?
Yeah, sure. I went with, there's one on there, and it's more personal to me. It's walk away from your problems. I'm not from this Midwest area. It's kind of not something that I was even ever had in mind. I grew up in New Orleans. That was my life. I was going to stay in New Orleans. I was a bartender through college. I was a bartender in Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. I traveled, and I thought, my dream was to maybe open up my own bar or something like that. But I kind of got in this whole part of my life where I was just a bartender that was smart and had these degrees, but I didn't apply myself at all because I was stuck. My problem was the fact that I was stuck in a life that really wasn't leading me anywhere. My parents, they live here in Grand Rapids, and so I on a whim, one day called up my parents and I said, hey, I'm going to look for jobs in Grand Rapids and see if I can just move there. And they were like, you're joking, right? We haven't talked to you in like 2 years.
Who wants to go to Michigan, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm moving from New Orleans. Like, I had never even seen snow. Like, I'd seen snow when I went skiing. Like, that's it. And then I moved in January.
You're in for a treat.
And, it's been a great move for me, and it's mainly just because I put the problems in my past. It's not something that it's not something that was easy to do, but it was something that was so necessary especially for me to further my career. Rather than if I was in New Orleans, I guarantee you I would just be bartending right now.
Mm.
All right. No, and man, that's deep. And it's just cool that like you could be part of this because I mean, he's a brilliant guy. He has a lot of insight, very intelligent. It's just, you know, sometimes you get stuck in ruts just because everyone else around you is doing the same thing. That doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. And, you know, everyone does. I know that I want to get into real estate, and Leffler's always sending me stuff to get me motivated and just trying to push me because it's such an interest to me. It's just hard to give up what you have. Right now I have golden handcuffs on. That's really what it comes down to. I make enough where I'm comfortable, and it's hard to break away. And I've been doing it for 3 years, and it's just, how am I going to make a change? What is going to be the backbreaker? And it's hard to think about. Leffler, you got something to say?
You need to make the jump and quit being you fill in the blank.
Yeah. Oh,
There's no such thing as getting too comfortable. None of us should ever get comfortable or complacent or happy with where we're at. We should always be looking 5 steps ahead of our current position. And that's why we're all here, is to push each other to that next step.
That is true.
I think the golden handcuffs thing is an excuse that you just give yourself because you're happy with where you're at now, and it would be pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone to go to the next step.
Exactly.
He's right.
Have you ever like picture? Have you ever done like any sort of envisioning of you and that person that you're trying to become? Like you as whoever you are, a broker in real estate or somebody, like pictured yourself making a sale, picturing yourself walking into the door and lighting up when, you know, just body language and just, you know, just knocking the room dead and just being the person to the fullest of your ability that you can in that moment and bringing all the energy you have. I've worked on that for me, cold calling doesn't come naturally, right? So in my current position, part of it is making cold calls, generating new business and filling the pipeline. And so for me, part of it was just like, how do I envision myself being that guy who has energy first thing when he talks to that guy, that very important financial advisor who handles the whole operation out in Florida, whatever it is, right? He handles $100 million. Who am I? Like, why am I? I don't know if I'm qualified. I'm sitting here. I just got out of college a few years back, and it's like, I don't think I'm worthy of this. Okay.
Could I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yeah, of course.
I think the one thing that makes Leffler and I, just in sales, we're like a little bit crazy because I've never thought that in my life, and it makes me like a killer instinct. I am capable. At the time I was a 23-year-old medical device salesman teaching doctors how to do procedures on patients. I would start talking to them and they would ask me, how old are you? And I would literally just have to be confident and direct enough where it's like, look, that's irrelevant to our conversation. I want to make sure you're administering vasopressin at the right dilution. You know, the doctors that I work with in this area, this is what they do. And it's interesting because I know you are a killer. You don't ever feel like that. It must just be the situation you were in. Like you were uncomfortable and it wasn't what you wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Right. And well, it took a lot for me to accept that maybe that killer instinct is there. Like I have it, but I just have to like uncover that and really just speak it out and have some introspection. And I think that's helped me too, is just developing a mindfulness practice where in the morning I'd sit there and just, whatever it is, focus on your anchor, the breath, focus on, you know, just putting yourself into a position of success. And that's helped me out a lot, man. And thank you. I appreciate that for you saying it. Again, that's why this friend group's so awesome. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think Leffler was going to talk. I accidentally muted him. So unmute.
Yeah, I see him down.
We don't want to hear him.
Can I
Go
talk
ahead.
now?
I just hear your flicker and stuff or your turn signal.
Sorry. I wanted to talk, but I was trying not to be rude. Anyway, Connor, it's trial and error. Every time I go into somewhere, it's an at-bat, and you might go through a slump where you're 0 for 20, 0 for 100, but eventually it's a batting average, and a law of averages. Nobody bats 1,000s, and hopefully you don't bat 0, but you want to have a good batting average, and the only way to figure it out is by stepping up and taking the at-bats. Yeah, you might walk into some big whale's office who's worth $100 million and absolutely blow it. There's 0 sense in getting upset about blowing that. You literally just dust that off and move on to the next one because there's another big whale out there for you to catch. You're not going to catch them all. You want to catch some, and at the end of the day, you want to have a good batting average.
Plus,
the only way to have a good batting average is by taking a shit ton of it.
You wrestled the whale, like you got in there and fucking did it. So like, at the end of the day, whatever, man. Like I went up against Muhammad Ali. Fuck him.
Well, if you think
But now
about
you know what. I mean, if you lose the whale, then you know what not to do next time. If you win the whale, now you know how to duplicate the process and get the next one. Fine tune your process.
couldn't agree more. And I just want you to know, Meekins, you're talking to Moby Dick himself. No, but seriously, the worst part is though, so like in our field, so say you just got the whale, like you just killed it. You got this trial going and, the possibility to make a boatload of money and, help a lot of people is there. The thing is, the second you get that one, your quota increases.
Mm-hmm. It's a what done for me lately business is what I've heard.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have anything else on that one? Because we can move to the next.
That's why you start your own business so you don't have to worry about a quota. I'm just saying. But yes, next subject.
Yeah. This is the old insight,
There you
the old man insight.
Back in my day.
Back in-
Hey, do you want to go next? Leffler? Looks like you're about to get out of the car, so maybe you
My
go
turn.
next.
What do you? My one was the last one about listening. I don't know the quote, but I think it's
It's
Buddha, or a
listen
monk
more,
who
talk
says-
less.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we probably all
exactly.
pick that.
So you
I had
can't,
that.
if your mouth is open, your ears are closed. I was always bad in sales because I just wanted to diarrhea all of my knowledge all over these potential customers. In reality, I've learned to ask 2 simple questions and let them talk 90% of the time and do listening on my end 90% of the time. And the outcomes almost flip themselves on the head by talking less. Now you got to be prepared and have answers ready when they ask you questions. But if you ask them the right questions, you will go a lot further than just dumping your knowledge on them.
And I think that same thing is so true. That very last one, listen more, talk less, when you're in management. So with my team, I can tell you that they talk a lot. They always want to pull you into a conference room and talk about what's going wrong, what drama's happening in the room, and you just literally have to just sit there and listen. You can't really do much about it, but as long as they know that you're listening, they'll just keep going and going and going and just venting to, and you just have to be those ears to them and just encourage them to really just get it all out and encourage them to take those next steps to resolve whatever issue that they have. So in management, listening is huge because you can't just talk, because then everyone thinks that you're just a dictator instead of more of a democracy kind of thing. So it's huge. I can tell you it's huge in management.
The boss versus the leader.
Right.
The boss is the boss who tell you what to do. A leader's can actually help you, which brings us to the next point. Kind of ties both of those points together. Is just be consultative. So consultative selling and managing. Listen 90% of the time, and then use that 10% of the time to be consultative on what if you're selling. Having the knowledge to be the expert and say this is what's going to be best for you to solve your problem. And then if you're the consultative manager, this is going to be the best solution to make you a better person, better employee, so that you can make more money yourself or make the company better and so on.
I think people
agree.
talk themselves right into their problem too sometimes. So if you let them just sit there and talk through it, it's like, oh wait, now you're here and you can provide this solution for me because I just got to the root of it by just
That's
talking.
the best part about sales is make them tell you what they want, and you're the solution to that. I mean, you basically get them to spill it all. I think sales is more about listening to them than it is about you telling them what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they're just going to spill what they actually need, and that's where you come in to fill that hole.
What I actually found pretty fascinating, I don't know if I even told you guys this. Whenever I worked at UniFirst, it was outside sales. It was my first outside sales role. They have it down to a science. We're literally selling shirts and pants, the exact same color, exact same pants to our customers, and our competition is doing the same thing. And really what we were basing all of our information on is finding their pain. And we literally had to remember questions verbatim. There were like 21 questions, and it's just how they had it structured. They wanted you to find the pain in every situation. So you would just dig. You just sit down and ask them, hey, so how's this going? Do you currently have your 7 pants? We would just ask the questions. And the people would tell us, oh, well, yeah, but it's annoying because sometimes they forget them. And then you can just elaborate. Oh, well, UniFirst has this, and they're able to do that. So it's just very interesting because doing that sales compared to medical device, they just throw you to the wolves. I was an associate at one time, and then the next time I'm a territory manager, I go through all these interviews, and I'm thinking that they're going to have the same structure. All right, we want you to ask these questions, go into these places. My manager was just like, good luck. And I had to call Ryan Leffler. I had to call my mentor, Jim Langtop. I had to make contact with all these people that knew what they were doing. That way I can pick their brain, just like what we're doing right now, just talking about life. This is so important, not only for you guys, but anyone that wants to see it. If you're willing to learn from people, I know that that's one of them in there. The willingness to learn. No, you never know enough. I met a gentleman on the airplane. I sent this in the group chat with you guys.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Him and I just talked for a little bit. I was reading the book, Start With Why. And he just turned to me, and he was like 70 years old. And he just said, hey, it's really nice to see a young guy reading a book and not on his phone. And I just said, oh, thanks. I just actually started reading this. Him and I talked for a brief moment, and he just said, oh,
I just started reading last week for the first time ever.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Thanks. So then he just sent me this. He sent a box with a couple books and a note in it, and it was awesome. I'll have to bring it up the next time we do another podcast, but it's just so funny how he was not done learning. And he told me that. He's like, I have so many books. If you have any recommendations, let me know. He's 7 years old. He's retired. And he's willing to learn more. So,
Steve, do you have on hand a drafted why statement that you can share?
Like my why from that book?
Yeah. Did you kind of draft one in your head? I'm interested in knowing if you've even practiced the why, because I think you have.
Well, what's very interesting to me is I think about it career-wise and why I'm in what I'm doing right now. Inevitably, I want to be a motivational speaker. That's my why. That's why I do everything. I want to gain success, and I want to be successful enough that I can influence others. So that is my why. That is why I do everything. And before, my why was probably more driven by money. But at a certain point, you see that money isn't as valuable as you think it is in certain respects. It's definitely something that you need, and it's great to have. But in the time that I've spent in my job, I know that people are a little stressed out. They're going through a lot of stuff, and I would just love to be able to help people. And that also is why I wanted to create this. I wanted us to help each other. Because I know that there's times that I sit in my apartment or in a hotel because I'm traveling for work, and I'm just like, man, why am I doing this? Why am I working so hard? I have so many friends that are just chilling. I have a friend that's in Hawaii doing nothing.
Can Can you?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, but seriously, I just sit there and I wonder why. Like, why am I putting in so much effort? I'm 26 years old and I feel like all I do is work out, and eat. That's it. And
Big three.
I want to help people. That's why I do it. I want you guys to help me. I need help. I want to help you guys. I want to.
Gym Tan Laundry, baby. GTL.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
Currently where Douglas just came from.
It was tanning.
I do a lot of laundry. I skip the other two a lot.
I think it's the lighting.
Lopez, Steve.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's the brown light.
Can you like just touch on for a second, because I think you changed quite a bit over the last couple of years between you just like loving like the wanting to just make money and just kill it. I know you still like money's great, like, but I think that your idea of like serving and motivational speaking kind of came about. Am I wrong about that? Like, I think that it became like money's great, but I need to attach this to my why. And then like, can you talk through that growth process of even learning through the last couple years?
Yeah, I mean, it's just working my butt off and doing everything I can to grow my business, because I run a division of the company and I handle every aspect of it. And I've talked with Leffler about it. You know, you just hit certain points. You know, I could live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I could have millions of dollars. And what would I be doing different than I do now? Drive around in a cooler car. I'm not going to be able to see you guys as frequently. Like I just started to figure out that there's some things that I need in life, and it's a requirement. Like, I want to see you guys as frequently as possible. It goes along with what Leffler said. I want my own business. That's why I'm interested in real estate. I can grind my butt off and I could do very well in medical device, but I'm also more interested in being free and doing what I want. And honestly, I want to be in a place where I'm closer with friends, because what is it if you have all the money in the world, but you don't have anyone to spend it with? You know, there's a reason why people in Hollywood.
Wise beyond his years, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, old man. Leffler.
But just make sure you pick the right someone to share it with. Just saying.
No, exactly. And, you know, there's a reason why people go nuts in Hollywood, and everyone looks at them and they're just like, oh, you know, they have it all. They shouldn't be upset. Yeah. What do they have? They have all the money in the world and everyone just wants to take it from them. Or, you know, they don't even have true friends. I could text you guys and be like, get on this call. We're going to talk to each other. And you guys are like, all right, I got you. Because, you know, if you did that to me, I would be the first dude there. If you needed me for anything, I would be there. Maybe not Leffler, because that's far. But
Hey, I'm down with coming to Hawaii.
All are welcome anytime.
yeah.
Steve, thanks for sharing it, man. I appreciate it, and I've always gained a lot from hearing your growth. If anybody else has a story, has something that they could share, like Connor or Tyler, anybody, if you wanted to share, if you have learned a lot more in the last 2 years and become a different person through mindset, or like what's changed, I'd love to hear it too. So
I absolutely have, especially mostly just hanging out with you guys. I shared this last week, but I always had my act together in college. I was doing a good enough GPA, active in extracurriculars, and then networking within Kent State and everything else. You have that feeling of this is the path I'm supposed to be on. So then I graduated and all those people moved away, and you should, you know, start grinding and get that first job. And it's not that I didn't do that, but I was always fearful I was in the wrong thing. So there was a number of months that were really I just didn't do anything. And I was relating to what Brad said earlier, because I just kind of worked my college job for too long because I was fearful of getting into the wrong thing, or the office life, or going and doing the 8 to 5. But by the time I really started to get close with you guys, I knew a lot of you in college, but when we started this kind of group after school, I was in the corporate lifestyle, but just hearing everything you guys have had to say, and pretty much without repeating everything that was just said, just going at it every day and wanting to grow to be a better person, and then just saying, hey, this is where I am right now, and I'm going to be the best at it that I can be. And then taking that, and now, you know, going towards my future here now, I'm very good at where I am now, but there's so much more out there to be great at. So if I'm one of the best people at what I'm doing now, that's good, but I'd rather be one of the best people at something even more complex, because I'm living the office life in Cleveland, Ohio, and that's great, but there's so much more out there to be the best at.
Absolutely. And you know what that's going to take?
Moving.
The same thing Leffler's trying to get me to. Just take a step, man.
Go.
Cojones.
Do you
Right,
think
you got to take
Leffler
Leffler's
puts-
and take the leap. Take the leap, which would be moving or applying for something else, or yeah.
It's moving,
Having faith in
dude. It's
yourself.
moving.
Andra. This place is
Did
an
you
ice.
guys see the, I don't know what number it was, but it basically said, don't stay in one place too long, move to different cities, get out of your comfort zone. Just like, I mean, Brad hit on it, right? He didn't want to leave sweet home Louisiana. I don't know why anybody would want to live there personally, but he moved to Michigan, and he's got a new tool in his box that he, has learned in the last 10 months just by being in Grand Rapids, Michigan, out of his comfort zone, meeting new friends, meeting new people, different views, walks of life. I think it is very valuable to get out of your comfort zone and away from your safety nest, and see what else the world has to offer. I mean, Connor just moved to Chicago, right? I mean, how different is Northeast Ohio than Chicago?
Yeah, and I didn't. You could have sat there explaining to me like all day how Chicago. Once you make that move, man, it's gonna be great. Like if you just make the move, like, and we could sit here going through hypotheticals, right? Like we could read books. It could be theory. It could be whatever. People could just tell me until I make that jump and experience it and move to Chicago in -5-degree fucking weather.
I hear you, brother.
Try to reduce the profanity, but yeah.
No, but seriously, I've learned so much from.
I mean, you got to touch the stove yourself to know it's hot. Because somebody else telling you that stove is hot is not enough. You got to touch it.
Oh, that sizzles.
That sizzles.
Leffler bestows knowledge. It floats off the tongue.
Confucius over there.
He's a faucet of knowledge and quotes.
He is the person.
I'm just Googling shit to say right now. And it's on fire.
You would.
But think about it. Like when we were kids, before we were fully developed in the mind, we were always adventurous and thinking like, what if I touched that, or what if I did this, or what if I went there, or we were always thinking about the next place, the next fun thing to do. Where did that I think what happens in adulthood?
Where did that stop? Yeah.
The boy mindset, right? Connor, do you have something to add? Like I think that's extremely true. Like for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you just go back. I remember back in the day when I was a little tiny toddler, I felt a fascination for whatever reason to jump off my parents' deck just to know what it felt like to fly. And I did. And I bit a part of my tongue off. And I learned that that's probably not the best way to go about that. And so it's just like taking that. And there was another one in that article. It said, stay curious, never stop being curious, never stop wanting to learn more. And it's you always have to be in a constant state of learning, whether it's books or whether it's moving out to Chicago and just winging it and just doing it. It's you always have to keep learning to really stay ahead of the game and really maintain success. So I'm learning something new every single day in aviation, dude. There's so many acronyms, so many rules, so many regulations, so many different types of jets out there, so many new owners that we have to learn all their profile information on. It's crazy, but in order to stay ahead of the game and keep moving up, you have to do that.
Can we touch on that? Because I wrote that one down, and it said the first thing it said was lifelong learning is essential to creating opportunities for yourself. So human beings are at their best when they're learning a new skill and when they're serving other people, right? Like, so if you're doing something for the world, Steve, you're motivational speaking, you're giving back, you're touching the lives of other people. And if you're learning a new skill, obviously, if you're motivational speaking, you're also like bringing in new skills, like you're learning, you're reading, you're prepping. Dude, that's all you need to continue growth, personal growth, and challenging others and being at your best. I think that one's huge, is being a lifelong learner. And you just accept that and keep doing things, keep trying new things, whatever it is. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I went to Kent State initially for their flight program because I wanted to do flight technology and be an airline pilot.
You did?
Yeah, I did
what?
that for a semester. And then it was like an extra $80,000 or something on top of tuition. So, okay, maybe I wasn't going to do that. Sat in some of the intro classes, maybe realized I didn't want to live that lifestyle of always being in hotels or away from your family. wanted to go more of the business route, and then maybe later in life get my private pilot's license and at least be able to go up in the air. Something I thought I'd do when I was 30 or 40 or later on. And then 4 months ago, I figured, why not now? So here we are. I'm almost there, and that's just still really trying to accomplish that dream. Just decided, why not? Let's go for it.
That's awesome. So cool.
Yeah.
Dude, you never told us.
You're getting your private pilot's license?
Yeah.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just applied for a scholarship to get mine too. So
Very cool.
we can fly when we all start a company together. You have 2 pilots right here for our private jet. I know how to manage one, so we'll be good.
Love it. We can take adventures on those guys. It's like we're gonna fly.
Yeah, dude, we could do like barrel rolls and stuff. It'd be cool.
All day.
Connor, we're gonna take a little Cessna in the O'Hare, okay? You gotta meet us there.
Oh god, that's not a good idea. But okay, we'll do it.
Figure. Let me know.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Congrats. I'm glad you could share that.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. Who hasn't given an article yet? Or given one of the things? I think everyone.
I'm giving 2, yeah.
I mean, I touched on what Connor was saying just then. I had a couple. I mean, I think that seeking out challenges, that was number 3. I don't know if anybody touched on that yet. I said not being afraid of adversity will open the door to new opportunities and awesome life experiences, which really just, I think, ties everything together that we've been talking about the whole time. I'll be honest, Chicago was, like you guys said, a ton of adversity. I moved into a studio apartment in a 46th floor high rise, moving in with the likes of professional athletes and entertainers. And I really see these people and I'm like, and I feel so small. I'm like, shoulders will come in and like body language changes. And you just learn that like everybody's a human being and you can learn something new from anybody else. And that's always true. I think Dale Carnegie says it in How to Win Friends and Influence People. And just constantly treating those people with respect. And I think it leads into everything the article talks about networking. You can make friends. I've made a friend on the Blackhawks team. Like I never thought I'd have a friend on the Chicago Blackhawks. Are you kidding me? So this is it. It's so cool and it's surreal and it's fun, man. It's been good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And our next video that we're going to post is going to be all about networking because I find it to be so important and valuable. There's seriously nothing that trumps that, in my opinion, because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know how that relationship is going to influence your life. You're just, there's so many things that go along with networking. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next one. Do you guys have any closing remarks? I am going to post this article underneath the video and the details so anyone could read it if they would like. It's really about it. You guys have anything else?
Iron sharpens iron, baby.
Hi, yeah. I like that.
Can Leffler leave us with another quote that he Googled? Let's see what he's got.
Take it away.
Chicago trip soon.
We'll wait for the Googled quote. Let's hear it, Leffler.
You know which one I want to use? Which one of the 4 that I sent you earlier today should I use?
Ooh, the last one, my favorite one.
Go ahead, take it away, or do you not remember it?
I can pull it up in 2 seconds.
The
Maybe.
best pace is a suicide pace. Today feels like a good day to die. Steven and I constantly
Good day to die.
pushing each other. So, I don't know if you guys know who Steve Prefontaine is, but he's this nerdy track runner from the 80s, I believe. And he literally was nothing special.
Ran for Oregon.
He wasn't much of a physical specimen, but he literally just had a heart that nobody could beat him. At the end of the day, he was going to mentally will himself to victory. And if he had to push himself to the brink of death to do it, then so be it.
Read Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. He talks about Prefontaine and the inspiration.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also a great book.
Yes. Have you read it?
Yeah. Well, listen to it.
Yes, I also listened to it. That's awesome. Yeah, dude. Great book.
And
Why
that's
did he
another
move
good
to
point.
Hawaii? Phil Knight moved to Hawaii and met his wife in Hawaii and then peeled back instead of going to Japan. No,
Yeah.
Phil Knight's buddy met his wife.
Oh, dude, he was
They
over-
stopped in Hawaii.
Nailed it.
on the way to Japan.
All right. So the other thing, just to end this with a positive note after the suicide run or whatever you were talking about.
No, it's actually positive.
No, I'm just messing around. I love that quote. But seriously, anyone that's watching this, listen to books on tape. If you are doing anything, you can listen to a book. I've listened to it while I've ran, just because some books just get me going. Like, it's not something that I do all the time. I'm not gonna lie.
Gets me going.
Podcast too. Podcast
Yeah.
too.
Podcast. I mean, there's these guys. What's the podcast called? I can't remember.
Is
Men in the Arena, right?
Yeah. No. So that's about it. If anyone has any questions, leave a comment below. But I look forward to doing more of these, guys. Thanks for tagging along. Solid 45-minute talk. And I will talk to all